Hi, David Paul here again. Um, right, I'm now back in the UK, and I've been resting up for the past few days. I had a tough time getting back. I had to fill in a lot of forms, take COVID tests and things like that, and I finally got back, and felt really rough. I'm on my boat at the moment in Watchet, and it's nice. It is so nice here. It's so comfortable and warm and pleasant, and I'm staying here for now. Um, so I got nag from my two boys when I got back because is this not a wake up call for you, Dad? Is this not a wake up call that these things can be dangerous? And well, yeah, okay, it is. Yeah, just got to be more careful about putting your hand on handrails, above bridges, and not falling off into ravines. That was the last thing I would have expected. I mean, Portugal, after all, is regarded as the third safest country in the world after Iceland, where there is nobody there, and New Zealand. So I would say that makes it like the most safe. So anyway, um, I got back, a lot of pain and so on. So what I did is I had the clever idea of just rest, and I have done that ruthlessly. Just rested. I don't have any broken bones. It's just kind of like you've been beaten up by a bunch of guys down in an alleyway. Not that I ever have. This camera's making my face look twisted to one side. There, maybe that's better. So anyway, I got back, lay down, and rested and rested and rested and rested. So now I'm fine. I'm walking around and doing stuff. Things still ache though. I've got a severely sprained ankle and bumps all over the place. And what kind of happens throughout your body is all these core muscles get pulled, and it makes them, it strains them all. So they just ache and so on. It's like having toothache throughout your body. Take some paracetamol and it goes away. So slowly, day by day, it's going away. So where do I go from here? Well, here's the plan. They're kind of mystified as to why I've got this house in Portugal. Well, as you know, I have this boat in England. I don't want to live in England because I don't like the cold. It's cold in the winter time, and it's the summers are beautiful, but you spend all winter time sitting indoors doing nothing, waiting for it to end, and that's not what I want to do with my life. I want to do fun things like out and about in the Philippines. So, for one thing, which I always was when I was there, and when I was in Portugal, in the first 2 days, I'd had more exercise walking around through the countryside, which was interesting and new to look at, than I'd had in years in England. Well, certainly in months in England until the summertime. But the thing about England is, it's almost as if I know what's round every corner. I've been here, done that, got the T-shirt. So anyway, I'm back, and the plan is that what I'm going to do is I left stuff down there, all my supplies and everything, and I'm going to go back there in sometime like May, because I have to sell this boat, up for sale by the way, anybody who wants to buy a nice Wesley Pageant for 4,000 quid or nearest offer. So what I will do is I'll sell this boat, and then that severs my ties with the UK, apart from the fact that I've got another yacht, which is in storage, and sell the boat, get the other one paid off, ready to go up to Hartlepool Marina where it'll stay, and then I will head off back down to Portugal for about 3 months in the summertime, and I will carry on fixing up that house. So the plan is, I hope I will get that house substantially completed such that you could actually live there in the winter time, one way or another. So I'll do that. Then after that, I've got some land in the Philippines, which as a foreigner I'm not allowed to own, but my daughters, they will be having that in their name, so it's kind of held in trust for me. So I can then build a house on it and do as I please. And then I'll have a house in the Philippines as well. So the idea is to have a lifestyle where I live in 2 countries instead of 1. And I got this idea from a thing called Nomad Capitalist. The Nomad Capitalist is a website for rich people who want to live in different countries and avoid taxes. Well, I'm not rich, but there's no reason why you couldn't just live an ordinary life in different countries. So I'm going to do that. So I'll go to the Philippines after the time in Portugal, and I'll start working on a house over there. Now, for anybody who wants to live in the Philippines, there are loads of these guys who want to retire there, and they've got all kinds of plans about how they can do things and stuff. And they come across a problem in life, which is you can't own property, you can't own land that the property stands on. So I would suggest to them that they do, if they've got any Filipino kids or anything like that, that what they should do is put the land in their kids' names, and then they can just get on with it, you know. And you don't have to live in the Philippines all the time. You can live in it as a sort of a part of a sort of portfolio of places to live. And that way you're not getting this winter time all the time. Because when you retire, what I've discovered, it feels like you've kind of got about 3 or 4 times as much time as you would normally have. And the reason for that is because you're not traveling to work. You're not traveling back from work. You eat when you feel like. You're not constrained by anything, and you've also got the time off when you would be working, which is not being wasted either. So all of your time is your own. So you can it's kind of like you've got all this potential for living terrific lifestyles, you know, where you can pack in a lot in one day, and then get bored with that, and then go off to another country. And these people don't care if you do that, the countries that you're visiting or living in, because you're bringing in revenue, so what do they care? So that's the plan. Get the house in Portugal started off, and possibly even rent it out on Airbnb at times, and spend the rest of the time in the Philippines. And I'm now, you know, I've been living on my own now for about 1.5 years, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's who was it? In The Godfather 2, you know, the head of The Godfather, he says, "This is not what I wanted." Well, actually, it isn't. It isn't what I wanted. So, I'm going to get myself a new wife. So I'll just do that. Just press reset, and just get on with life, you know. Now, there've been a lot of complaints about when I was a teacher, the head of department once said, "I find your attitude, Mr. Newton Scott, rather complacent." And I thought, for Christ's sake, woman, you know, if you don't lighten up round here, you know, you're gonna die, you know, because this place was a lunatic asylum. These kids were nuts, and it was so stressful that I'm laughing at it now, but it wasn't funny at the time. It was so stressful. I would like go in, and I would go from one floor to the next floor. And what I did, there was a little elevator. So I'd go in this little elevator, only for use by the staff. And I'll go in and press the button and it'll rise up. And it'll take between 20, it was a slow elevator. It took about 20 to 30 seconds for this elevator to rise to the next level, and vice versa when it went down. And that was just to get some respite. Seconds just to clear your head and think. So basically you're in situations often where you just got to get on with it, you know. You got to move on. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I took a sort of cue from a teacher called Henry James, like the same name as a famous playwright in London. He was attacked by a bunch of Somali kids, a gang who turned up at the school, intent on having probably killing this other kid who they had a conflict with, and he got in the way, and he attacked him and they slashed him with a Stanley knife, and he got a little nick about an inch long. And I saw him at school the next day, and most people, were not Henry James, but most people would have took the wuss's way out and at least not turned in for work the next day, and then complained that they were traumatised by the incident and took a couple of months off sick or God knows what. And they would have got away with it, but not Henry James. And Henry James, I asked him about this, and he just said, "Oh, no problem." He says, "You know, there are things that can happen. Well, I could have been killed, but I wasn't. So to hell with it." And he just carried on. That sort of Winston Churchill, old-style British way of thinking and being. And I thought, that's the way to be. Because you can't do anything about that which has happened. And just crack on, get on with it, and move on to new things. Otherwise, you just kind of do that sitting on the porch thing, you know, or people I see on canal boats, old guys on canal boats. What they do is they sit there and they'll smoke these rolly cigarettes, or have a couple of beers or whatever, or a cup of coffee and the rolly cigarette. Half an hour later, they're smoking another rolly. They finish, they just drop dead, and they live this very sort of diminished lifestyle, which is just not for me. If you look at my channel, I'm all over the place, and that's my nature, and that's what I got to carry on doing, and that's it really. So next, I'm not going to post any videos for a long time because it's just the same thing. I'm just waiting it out at this marina until I can get free, but I will be back down in Portugal filming what you can do there, how you can buy a house and how you can fix it up, and all the good things you can do in Portugal, and also once I get over to the Philippines. So if I just, what I'm thinking is, if I just bide my time here, and I've got paperwork things to do, mathematics things, and possibly do some more teaching. I'm hearing that there's a bit of a struggle with teachers at the minute. They need some, so I may do a bit of that. Whatever. I will do all of that stuff in the next couple of months and wait for the weather to turn. And then once it turns, back to Portugal. So this is my positive video, as I promised my two boys. I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. And up and about and moving about and doing things. So that's that. So you all have a nice day. Goodbye. Adios. Achaka. Paalam.